What happens after death? Now, we have taken a look at this from multiple perspectives, but we're going to take a look at the Advaita Vedanta version, and Swami Sarvapriyananda is going to be talking here in this video. This is done by his YouTube channel. Well, I don't even think this is his YouTube channel. It's the Vedanta YouTube channel. But anyway, he's talking here. We're going to learn about death and what happens after.
We've totally reacted to a couple, at least one other video. But
a bunch of...
I am curious, we haven't reacted to him talking about it?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's see.
Notice the language you used. When death happens. So, death happens to what? Follow this carefully. And here is another way we cheat ourselves. A little trick that we play on ourselves. Death happens to the body, there's no doubt about it. It's the physical body which dies. And as you said, the brain also dies. Then did you notice what he said next? Quite smoothly he went on to, the brain dies and the mind disappears, right? How do you know? How do you know? Do you have any evidence? Brain death, we have evidence. Doctors do that, brain death. That the mind has disappeared. How do you know? Forget the disappearance of the mind. When the mind is existing, even then does any doctor, any scientist in the world have any direct access to the mind? I'll repeat that question here. Many here are professionally trained. The IT people, medical people, scientists, neuroscientists. I know. Forget consciousness, Atman, Brahman, all esoteric stuff. Even the most common thing that we are thinking now, the mind. Has any scientist or doctor, anybody has any direct access to the mind? Each of us, we have direct access to our own minds at least. Our thoughts we are aware of right now. Our feelings, thoughts, memories, we are aware. Desires, our ego, we are aware of right now. You're aware? We're all aware. Some are zombies. We are aware of our own thoughts right now. But can anybody from outside, no matter the most sophisticated of instruments, capture a desire, a love or hate or a memory? What can they do? At most, what can they do? They can scan the brain in fMRI scans and find out patterns of tiny electrical activity. They can give drugs and which can change those activities. And you can experience different things yourself because of the drugs and all of that. That's no big deal. A cup of coffee you take also will change your brain chemistry and your own experiences also. But where is the direct access to the mind? The claim that when the brain, see what a big claim it is. When the brain dies, mind disappears. When did the mind appear to you? Let me answer that first. To whom does the mind appear? To the individual, to the sentient being, to you, me and each of us. Have I testified to you? You are right, my brain died and now my mind has disappeared. No. What has happened is, as long as the body was alive, we had a contact with a sentient being who inhabits that body. Once the body dies, we have no contact with this being. And we say the being is destroyed, gone. Why? Because we have already assumed this body must be that being. Inherent in that question is materialism. But for that to be right, that's the mainstream science now. That's the whole challenge of the hard problem of consciousness. That's why the hard problem of consciousness and consciousness studies is important for Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Buddhism. That's why it's important. That's why why would philosophers of mind, neuroscientists be interested in Vedanta or Yoga or Buddhism? Why would Buddhist monks or a Hindu monk like me, a Vedantic monk like me, be interested in a neuroscience? Where's the connection? The connection is this. So, the answer from the Vedantic perspective, not just Vedantic, Vedanta, Sankhya, Buddhism, the answer is this, that we have a physical body, brain and nervous system are part of the physical body, and that dies, no doubt about it. But we also have a subtle body. You say, proof? Look at yourself. Here is a physical body, everybody can see, but every one of us is aware of internal thoughts, feelings, ideas. That's the subtle body. Subtle body is literally, if you want to define it, constituents, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha. Also include the causal body, anandamaya kosha. So, sukshma sharira. Even beyond that, we talk about a causal body, karana sharira, anandamaya. And all of these are part of experience and not reducible to the physical body. Okay, so when the physical body dies, according to these thought systems, according to these philosophies, the subtle body still survives. It goes into a seed state, and when it gets another physical body, it becomes active. These may not be physical bodies on this plane. They talk about many lokas, many other kinds of bodies. When we get those bodies, it becomes active. Now with modern IT and all, we can see how my laptop is dead, but no worries, my data is in the cloud. I'll buy another laptop and download that data, it'll start working again. All the samskaras are there, all the files, everything is there. I'll just have to download new body. Earlier days when it was not connected, laptop dead means your data is also gone. Nothing is gone. So this is the subtle body survives the death of the physical body according to us. If you can explain how subtle body, mind is being produced by the brain, then if the brain is gone, mind is also gone. If you could explain. But now they are saying, no, we can't explain it. We cannot. And additionally, the example of these intelligent machines, AI plus robots, which we are seeing all around now, that goes to show you can have all the activities from a material substrate like computer chips and all, except consciousness. So you cannot reduce consciousness to the brain. You cannot even reduce mind to the brain. See, in physical death, according to Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Buddhism, physical body, Sthula Sharira, it perishes, the subtle body goes on. And the subtle body carries the impressions of this life and past life into new lives, new bodies.
All right. That was not at all what I thought he was going to point to. That was actually really different. I didn't, the whole subtle body thing, because to me it sounded like it was trying to like create some, like his subtle body to me sounded like what people would call a soul, or like some remaining feature of the entity that's here. And I don't know. I think we might need to get comfortable with the idea that everything just may be gone. Like,
might be gone?
Yeah, everything might be gone.
Oh,
you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything or know about anything. But from a place of supreme not knowing, say this, okay? Like the idea of consciousness or something, go like that living on, and then even finding another host in potentially multiple dimensions or whatever. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't remember being you though. And there's somebody out there who's going, people have past life regressions. I'm not counting the outliers. I'm talking about commonly. Most people come to Earth and they're like, no, I don't remember what it was like before I barely even remember what it was like being a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever happens, it starts without, so you're not taking your memories.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are still at the place where they think that that's what they are, is their memories.
Yeah.
And it's like, turn your memories off. And maybe you can even still think, but that's activity within the brain matter, within the gray matter. It seems like the way thoughts appears. There's even some machines that can kind of map when a certain part of the brain lights up. They'd be like, oh, this is this kind of visual thing. I've heard that they can sort of get an idea of what you're thinking about based on what your brain's doing. Mm-hmm. Maybe based on what kind of language is happening in the brain, or even visual triggers or something, right? So it's not that. All that stuff seems to die and rot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is an important question here. The awareness of all that stuff. Yeah. The awareness of the thoughts and everything happening. And not the awareness as like a thing. Not the awareness as in like some solid sensation in your body. But just the place at which all things take place.
Yeah. Which is what I thought he was going to say. I thought that was where he was going to go with it. The
smallest things that make up reality, whatever they are, or even if, at the smallest level, if they even are anything, or if it just disappears into infinity at that.
Yeah.
That stuff from which all material is, seems to I heard once that there's no energy ever created or taken away from reality. Energy at its finest level is never created or removed or something like that.
Yeah.
Just changes forms, changing forms. What is that energy? What is it? What's below even that?
Yeah.
What is below all of that?
Don't some people point to it as like a void, but a void being so void that it has to be everything? or something like that.
I don't know.
Like some
it would be interesting to see what some of these like deeply enlightened people. I don't consider myself deeply enlightened. Do you consider yourself deeply enlightened in a spiritual sense?
Yes, definitely. No.
Yeah, no, neither of us really do. If we're just kind of like, that's what feels right to say right now.
When I listen to awakened people, they seem to say like when you awaken, it's reality awakening to itself, which makes me think that the cosmic joke here is that the whole time you thought you were like this, like the brain latched on to consciousness or latched on to reality and individualized itself. When you die, you become free of the body and you go back to being whatever you were.
That's what some say, but also they would say, well, who are we talking about here? Remember, you're not your memories.
Yeah.
It's not like, let's say you die and go to heaven. You know what I mean? If you're not your mind, because you can interrupt things, you can damage the brain so it doesn't recall things correctly. If you're not your memories, when you wake up in heaven, it's not going to be like, I'm here, like with that character that was crafted over a lifetime of experiences.
Yeah.
So like, why would that be the thing? Like some ego, like some thing like that. So what is it? It becomes so loose and the boundaries between it and everything else get so blurred that it's, I think that, and like you said, you're like, I feel like enlightened people. We had one guy that seemed to have awakenings that was like, get out of all, and sometimes I'm like, I don't even like want to maybe use the word anymore, but then I find myself using it again.
Yeah.
Enlightenment and awakening and consciousness and awareness and isness and thusness and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But without getting pretzelized and without being egoic and having all kinds of shadowy shit just falling out of me right now.
Yeah.
I do not know in a nutshell what the experience of death is. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Like other than somebody that's passed on and come back. And that is not like law in my opinion, because I don't know everything to do with the neurochemistry that happens to the brain.
Yeah. I don't know either, but I have a hunch that it has something to do with when people die during that beginning phase. Like they've already said that like DMT gets released and stuff in the brain when you die, like an overload of it. And then I suspect that people have some type of a psychedelic trip where whatever they were most comfortable with in this life, or whatever they understood their knowledge of death and heaven, I think that comes into play. And then if they get brought back, it's like they just had like the experience of a lifetime, which validated their life, the knowledge that they went in. Why is it that when people have near-death experiences in India, they see Krishna, and when they're in the States, they see Jesus? It's because they grew up around learning about those things.
Maybe you go through like a bardo, you know what I mean? And you go through that, and then it's into whiteness, and then the last vestiges of memory and identity are completely gone, and then a new baby opens its eyes, made of the same stuff that was always just recycling.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing about consciousness is that it has to grab onto something. The second you fade here, it goes to the next thing.
What do you think? My mind's going here. What do you think of the idea that somebody could be living a miserable life? They're not having a good time. But nevertheless, they're really freaked out at the idea of every last memory being deleted.
Oh, yeah, that's...
You know what I mean? Like, and then even if it is, like, well, don't worry, because you're already eternal. You're made of eternal stuff. You just got to lose this, like, individuated materialist paradigm, and you'll be free. You'll realize you've always been all of it. And somebody being freaked out by that, you know what I mean? Like, don't tell me that. I want to, even if it's a bad time. It's one thing if you're swinging on a star and you're like, I don't want the party to end. It's kind of understandable. But you're having a bad time, but you nevertheless you're survival based.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say there lies in maybe why you're having such a bad time. Like, not an invitation to do something radical. Just realize that it seems to be constantly changing. Let go of your tight grip and your certainty of things.
Yeah. Who knows? I've heard people talk about death as the ultimate love. That's the greatest thing that ever happens.
That's an interesting one, because the last guy we talked about the last guy we interviewed used the word love a lot. And love gets used so much, bliss and love and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Peace makes sense to me, but love is just such a multifaceted word. And oftentimes it's like, I need you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love can often be I need you, or you mean something to me, or you're special to me, or all these different things. But what is love in terms of the all-encompassing thing? Is it like extreme providence? Is it extreme care and nourishment? Like, you know, a sense of completion and safety and welcomeness. You're welcome, you're safe, you're complete, you have no lack. Is that what they mean by love?
I'm not sure. When I think of love sometimes, I think of it like the ultimate prioritization. I don't know. Like when it's like...
it can be totally used
something
like
that you latch onto, that you prioritize that thing above everything else, and you give it its full attention, and you'll do weird things, like things that are like against, that aren't even good for you, but you'll do it for that thing. It's
right.
Like you latch on to that thing.
So that's a kind of love, it seems like. It's like tied in with love, but that one's up for debate even if it's necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why, like, especially if you've got a grander view of things, like that guy we interviewed, you know,
Simon Mundy.
He did an interview with his wife where she was talking about what it was like when he came back from his awakening experience. He was at a retreat and he had an awakening, radical shift, and he came back, and one of her concerns, if I recall correctly, was, well, do you just love everybody now? You know what I mean? And the idea of that kind of love where I prioritize this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not always, but at least sometimes it seems like that could cause damage. It's like, because people love all kinds of things. They don't just love people. They love something else that's kind of nice as pets. But they also love themselves.
Yeah.
I prioritize me above everything else. Yeah. Really? Because you're causing cataclysm in your footsteps. You know what I mean? It might be a confusion. And if you are everything, there's all kinds of suffering going on. If depending on what you prioritize, you know, if you distinguish one thing as more priority, and that's not like an invitation to give up on things that depend on you. Yeah, it's like an invitation to be explore being more considerate and compassionate for everyone around you.
Well, we've gone off on this one. We're way out now off of what happens when you die, got into love, but we'll end it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction here. Let us know in the comments what you think about this, what happens after you die. And I guess if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone till next time, stay spiritual.